Have you seen the odds of Sri Lankan dice games? We are much better than that.
This is so much better than getting robbed in a back alley. Like 100% of users lose money and usually get beat up too.
This podcast contains the arguably witty banter of two friends, Skippy and Doogles, that like to debate about investing. The content is intended to be entertaining and for informational purposes only, not investment advice. You should do your own research and consult a financial professional before using any of the information in this podcast, and especially before investing.
Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue horn moon?
Yeah, on Thursday.
Or
That's Thursday,
ask the grinning bobcat why he grins?
I don't know about the bobcat, no.
Name the classic film that is from.
All I know is I chase bobcats away from my house a lot. With
Name the
shovel.
classic film that is from.
Go. What? Tell me the
Disney's
joke.
Pocahontas.
I've never seen Pocahontas.
That's probably for the best. It's really awful. Like it's so bad. It's so bad. But Vanessa Williams, voice of an angel. I tell you, voice of an angel.
This is how you decided to start the show?
Last week you told me I didn't do it right, so I figured I'm going to
So we went Pocahontas. That was your fix? Your fix was Pocahontas.
For the next 100 weeks, I'm going to name one classic film to get to 100 classic films at the beginning of every episode. So if you would like to stick around for that.
I just have to tell the listeners, he's actually serious about this. You guys.
It's about to happen. It's about to happen. Thank you for joining, everybody. We do appreciate it. As we let y'all know week, please hit us up on the Skippy Doogles at gmail.com. SkippyDoogles@gmail.com. That's where you get the listener mail. SkippyDoogles.com. You can find everything you need about the show up on there. But we just love y'all tuning in. We got 3 classics for y'all today. The first classic, gonna hit the eBay GameStop acquisition. Well, not really. I can't even call it an acquisition. It's a bid. GameStop has made a bid for eBay. That's what's happening. We're going to hit on that. Second, Kalshi, the polymarket clone is what I like to call it. We're going to discuss, we got a PR team now. How great is that? And we're going to discuss how good that PR team is. And then
I think they might be better off without. That's all I'm going to say.
It could be. Could be kind of like the show's better off without me. But I still show up every week. And then third, we're going to talk about the math of people making it or not making it. For eBay, GameStop. I think the best thing is just to play about a minute or so of this Ryan Cohen interview that I think wraps up the whole thing. Are you good if we do that?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Sort of walk us through how you could get to that price and how it would work.
So on our website, it's half cash, half stock, but the details are on our website.
Can you help? I've read them, but can you help our audience understand them?
Yeah. Which part exactly?
Well, I think we could start with the idea that the market cap of GameStop is, call it, $11 billion. You have $9 billion on your balance sheet. Arguably, if you're providing effectively all of your stock, and then the cash that gets you to 20, you have this letter from TD, that's another 20. We're now at 40, but we're still off by, call it 16. And the 20, as far as I understand, while it's considered a highly confident letter, meaning TD saying they're highly confident that they would provide the financing, it's not locked financing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
This is a 16-minute interview. I think that about sums it up.
All right. You need to give some background. You're not doing justice. I know our listener base is very intelligent and they probably know the background, but let's just provide a few details. There's really so many layers of the onion to peel that we're not going to take the whole show on it, but basic details are Ryan Cohen is the CEO of GameStop, and his comp structure is set up so he gets nice bonuses when the market cap goes up. But what does not matter It's not the value per share. There's no dilution does not matter, right? So he just needs a bigger market cap to get a big personal paycheck. So his job, as it's defined by his board, which did a very poor job, is to make the market cap of GameStop go up.
I like that you just called a spade a spade. I like. There's no
It's true.
bush beating around here.
GameStop currently has an $11 billion market cap and is sitting on about $9 billion of cash. So the company...
Which, hold on. By itself says a lot.
Of course it does. But it says two things. One, I don't know how they got to that much cash other than the short squeeze that happened in like 2021 or whenever that was. But I don't follow the stock because it was a joke back then. It's still kind of a joke in my eyes. So it tells you that the current investors, if you can call anyone that owns GameStop stock an investor, don't think the company is worth much relative to the cash pile. Then he went out using company's funds and bought mostly options on eBay. Okay? Mostly call options. For the listeners who don't know, this means you get rewarded if the stock price goes up. I don't know how this next piece is not illegal. It probably is. But let me just say, I think Ryan Cohen is acting rationally given his current...
Okay, hold on. He bought 5% of a company in options, and you're calling that rational. Continue. No, continue.
Cumulative
No. Continue.
Okay. If my job is to get more market cap, because that's what my board told me to do. My job is to get more market cap. And I have a big enough voice because I'm a fairly public figure that CNBC and Fox News is going to let me on the air. And I can work with investment bankers to get some sort of semi-coherent offer in place. This is like the very definition of insider trading. I mean, if you can buy call options on eBay at one price and then make news that makes eBay's stock go up 10%, it's kind of a win-win for you.
As an individual human being, you're saying.
I mean, is he supposed to care about... What's
He's
he supposed to care about?
He has employees. You talk all the time about how you shouldn't short a company stock because you have all these employees that are there that are working hard to increase the value. He has employees.
I thought it was apparent that if the board gave a compensation structure that was only based on market cap, that none of that is true. So anyway, I think what happens, this is my personal opinion, send all the hate mail to skippydoogles@gmail.com. I think the reason that interview's so funny is just because he's kind of like, guys, I'm not allowed to say this. I can't really say I'm going to dilute the crap behind this. And the half cash, half stock thing is hilarious because the $20 billion in potential funds is, I guess you're calling it cash. It's debt. Like, it's a loan. It's a loan to eBay.
Or dilution.
It's not even a loan to you.
Or dilution.
Well, no, then the dilution is a whole other piece because that's the other thing he doesn't want to say. He's like, I have to issue 2 or 3 times as much stock as we already have, assuming investors get excited about the proposition of buying eBay. So I have to get some people, I have to get banks to give me money, believe in this idea. I have to get retail investors to get me money. I don't know. I'm not fired up about it. I think it's kind of hilarious, but I understand what he's trying to do.
Who would give him money and why?
Well, eBay is a solid company, so they're not really giving him. But did you hear where he said, I think I can lay off 70% of the staff and run this thing from my house? Like, it's a marketing campaign where he's trying to convince eBay shareholders that they're better off without the current management team. And then he gets a bunch of debt and equity.
Have you ever seen the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yes, but it's been a while.
Okay. In this movie, now I was going to save this for next week because it's a classic film, but spoiler alert. This movie, inside of it, you have, I think in his first film appearance, Jonah Hill is standing behind a desk in what kind of store? Do you remember?
No, you're just going to have to cut to the chase, dude.
So you walk in here in this store. The store is called We Sell Your Stuff on eBay. And And what happens is you go there, you give them your stuff, and they go sell it on eBay. This is effectively what he is proposing to do, is to have a physical
parallel.
Is to have a physical store where you can then go sell your stuff on eBay. I think he's betting that no one else has seen this film. That's the only thing I can...
idea. This is brilliant. This is where your film knowledge is coming in so clutch.
Exactly.
Impressive work.
You thought Pocahontas had no relevance, but 3D chess, bro. 3D chess.
Okay. Do you care? Do you think it is illegal or should be illegal to buy a ridiculous amount of call options and then throw out a public acquisition announcement at 20+% of the current price?
Illegal? No.
How is that not insider trading?
What do you, I mean, because it's ridiculous. It's insider trading for me would be more like, a thing is going to happen, or you have a very high probability it's going to happen. Not that you are going to try and buy a company that is worth, or at a price that is almost 6 times the value of your company, and decide to buy options on it. That's a board situation. That should be.
No, this tells me he has a future in politics. Because I can't tell you how many politicians have a seat on the defense council, and then they go buy some call options on whatever defense company, and then they walk out 20 minutes later and say, we're really thinking about doing a government contract with so-and-so. Like, this is right out of the DC playbook. I'm so impressed.
No, dude, I get the joke. However, if you knew that GameStop was going to put a bid offer in for eBay,
okay, hold on.
You wouldn't buy options. You might buy puts.
Pause. He did know, because he was the one that was writing the offer. Let's see what eBay's stock did this week, because I haven't looked.
If they were 0-day options, then that would be something.
Well, so the thing I want to know is if he already sold. Yeah, stock did nothing this week, but it dropped as low as. Is this right?
That day it went up, at least during this interview, it went up like 10%.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe
I
just want to know if he sold after the interview. That's all I want to know.
You won't know that. You won't know that.
Well, we will in a quarter.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. You won't know it during the course of this conversation. What I do, here's a beautiful thing about CNBC in general, though, and what I am glad does not exist for the everyday person. If I was a publicly traded stock, so Doogles is public traded stock, and I go up and I give a keynote, right? To all my skills are being bequeathed upon this audience. And beside me, you had my value that was going up or down. Like, how do you have confidence in yourself when your own stock is going down while you're having a conversation?
Yeah, not everything should be publicly traded. Let's just say that.
There we go. All right, are you ready for fishbowl time?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm reaching in to bring, I think it's fair to say this is my favorite investing platform. See what I did there? Okay, my favorite gambling platform. Let's call it that. Kalshi. I respect Kalshi. I respect Kalshi more than Polymarket because at least Kalshi's trades are certified by the U.S. government. Kalshi's wonderful. But when the Wall Street Journal tries to do a breakdown of your public accounts to see how many of your users lose money, as Doogles like to say, how many of your losers use money?
No, how many of your losers use money?
How many of your users lose money? And your PR team, your head of communication, shout out Elizabeth, comes out and says, the Wall Street Journal came to us with a profitability analysis of Kalshi's public profiles, which was inaccurate because the majority of traders keep their profiles private. Blah, blah, blah. 3 more paragraphs of ranting. With some data that says Kalshi is so much better than these things. Because Kalshi users only lose, on average, 72% of Kalshi's users. This is a really tough thing to say.
Yeah, Sally sells seashells by sheeshosh.
72% of their users lose money on average. That's not good odds. And they say this is better than futures, sports books, options, stock day trading. I mean, this is better than living in a dumpster, too. Like, what?
Yeah, they're like, have you seen the odds of Sri Lankan dice games? You're much better than that.
This is so much better than getting robbed in a back alley. Like 100% of users lose money and usually get beat up too. I don't know the word. If it's arrogance, if it's just that you're stuck in a cave.
What it reminds me of, this is cruel, but what it reminds me of is my girl Caroline, the CEO of Alameda Research back in the day. When we talked about this in the show, whenever that was, in 2021, 2022, whatever it was. And she came out and she's like, they be asking me if you need math for trading. No, you don't need math. I don't understand math. That's what this reminds me of, is someone has I don't know this person. I don't know their career. I don't know their talents. I hope they're a talented person. But this reminds me of somebody that is a child being put into an adult's situation.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw shade specifically at the head of comms.
I am.
Good for you.
Because why would you put this out? This is the worst communication I've ever seen in my whole life.
It's just such tunnel vision. I think that's what I come to. It's like, it's so great. The world is so much better. Have you seen people throw money into a fireplace? It's better than that. And then you come out, you do. It goes on to say, like, we did this analysis, and the Wall Street Journal's analysis was so horrible, and look how good we are. How about you compare this to someone that buys the S&P 500 and sits on their hands for 20 years? How about you compare it to that? Because the loss rates are like 3% from memory. Don't have the analysis in front of me.
I think you missed. They did that. You missed it. They said if you bought the S&P 500 in 1929 and then you sat on your hands for 20 years, better than that.
Yeah, if you buy at the height of a bubble and sell 12 months later, our losers lose as much money. Sorry, our users lose as much money as that. Even our losers lose.
Oh.
I mean, where are the winners? There are no winners.
This feels to me like the only explanation I can have is it feels to me like what happened was Wall Street Journal comes out with their piece. They then go to the Wall Street Journal and say, nah, inaccurate. Because we have so many private profiles, we'll do the analysis and give you the information before they knew the result. Then they went and did the analysis and said, oh crap, we have to give them something. This is not good, but it's what we have. That's what it feels like happened. Otherwise, I can't see why else you would come out with this info if you didn't have to.
Well, and sometimes I think you need to stay quiet. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people lose money on your platform. The average person loses money on your platform. I can't imagine the average user of your platform is like, oh, this is investing. This is great. I think there's a thrill, possibly an addiction. What, do you disagree with that?
No. I agree with what you're saying.
Right? So I don't think you're going to lose users because of a Wall Street Journal piece. I don't think people that have their nose in the Wall Street Journal were your target audience in the first place.
I think that's right.
All right. Well, you can reach into the fishbowl and switch.
We switch in with the fishbowl. Okay. All right. Last thing in the fishbowl is Yonder. And you told me that you're going to rip me apart with this, since I don't know even understand why you need to be so harsh with your language. But this piece is called The Mathematical Reason Most People Never Make It. I enjoy this. You knew I would enjoy this because this is exactly the kind of thing that I enjoy. I'm going to hit on a couple pieces here, but here's how they start this, which I think is a cool little start. So they say you get your Spotify Wrapped. Spotify puts out, here's your year in review. Here's what you listen to, et cetera, et cetera. And they said if you look at Spotify, the same 10 artists always come up as to who people are listening to. And they use that to say that, as we've talked about with stock returns, results are concentrated in only a few names. But here, this is something I hadn't thought about. This is why I thought this was interesting, is they said those few names, the mathematical equation that leads to those few names is the square root of the total number of participants.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have, as examples they give, they go, so if you have 100 employees in a company, 10 will produce half the output. If you have 10,000 scientists, 100 produce half the meaningful research. I'm going to test your math here. On a team of 25, how many will carry the entire operation?
5, Doogles. 5.
You're so good. You're so good. Skippy paying attention in the math classes. So they're saying square root of total number, you get half. of the work from those people. It's a different version of the 80-20.
This is called Price's Law, and it's amazing. I love this piece.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And some they have some takeaways. I like these takeaways. So I'm going to go through a couple different versions of it. One is they said they looked at their own Substack to look at how many pieces they wrote created value. But the playbook they give out is they say produce volume early. You need enough shots on goal. If you don't get enough shots on goal, you can't see patterns. Second is track all your things because you have to know what is noise, what is signal. Identify your square root number. Like what is the number of shots on goal that you have to have before you can really see the pattern, and then double down on whatever that square root is. So what they mean is if your square root is my pieces on Substack, my pieces that I write are all ones that are about strategy in Sri Lankan dice games, and that's what all the people are doing, then go boom, go hard on it. Right? That's what they say. Double down, double down. Is that the piece you want to, what do you want to tear down? Or I can keep going.
Can I jump in here without stealing your thunder? It was a really cool piece. It talked about Price's Law, and I was into it. And then Tim Ferriss hijacked the piece and told me how I had to be more productive and what type of blog posts I have to write. And I was just like, come on. Like, does everything have to be about people reading your blog? Like, it was just like, just leave it at, hey, check out, this is a really cool thing. This is how you should see the world differently. Then we don't need to optimize. We don't need to turn everything into the 4-hour blog post, which that joke doesn't make any sense. Sorry.
The 4-hour blog post.
4-hour work week for blog posting hyper efficiency knowledge.
I got a new workout program. It's called the 4-hour sit-up. Nobody's downloading it. So the summary, and they have this at the very end of the piece, but the summary that goes back to that playbook I just mentioned, they said the early game is exploration. Plant all your seeds earlier because you don't know where Price's Law is going to kick in. Then in the middle, you identify what's your square root of n. Like once you get enough shots on goal, figure out what is your thing, and then exploit the crap out of it. That's what they're saying.
And what if the wording was just slightly different? What if it was, say, in your career growth? Yeah. Explore and try lots of different things. Get shots on goal. Meet new people. Try different things. Figure out what you kind of enjoy and get paid for. Go do that thing. What if it was so much more simpler?
It's the same thing. I think that's the point. I think that's the point, is that you take this framework and you can apply it to many different things. The overall point is the square root of n. It doesn't matter what the topic is. They're just using one example.
Okay.
I think you can apply it to, this is where my brain started going for this here podcast, is you can apply it to the world of investing as well. You start to figure out what's your thing. What is your niche? What is your edge? That edge should probably be buy the S&P 500 and sit in your hands for 20 years. But figure out, like, what is your thing? Once you have enough tries, then you can start to get it and then exploit. This is actually going, if we hit on the S&P 500 point, like, very directly, it's why the market wins. Is because you don't know. The market is made up by a small number of winners. You don't know what they're going to be. So if you buy the entire basket, then you figure it out. That is... Yeah. That kind of is the point. The market does it, like the index does it for you because it recycles. It doubles down on winners because it's market cap weighted. Like that is what it does. That's how it wins. It's the same exact thing. But I think this is an interesting way to look at it. And I've never come across Price's Law. I've never thought about the square root of n as anything. I've only thought about this from the 80-20 perspective, that you have 80% of results that come from 20%. I've never seen the square root of equals half. It's really interesting to me. And that's a small number. Such a small number.
Yeah. I think it starts with the title of the piece. I mean, I promise to get off this, but it says the mathematical reason why most people will never make it. My argument is just there might be a law around who provides the majority of output, or who, to go back to the original example, who gets the majority of streams. Like, it can't be distributed across 80% of the artists when you have 11 million artists. Like, no one would have any commonalities to talk to anyone else, right? I think you've seen this in TV for a long time and movies. People are searching for common things to talk about. You want to talk about the football game on Monday after the game on Sunday because it's like a point of commonality with your peers. So if everyone listens to their own, like say AI music makes the perfect track for Doogles and the perfect track for Skippy, and we listen to that all the time, and it is like fulfills all our wishes and senses as it comes to music listening.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we get together, what do we talk about those tracks that are entirely different and completely tailored to us? It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You need that overlap. So Price's Law, amazing. I don't think that really has a ton to do with the fact that most people can't make it.
Dude, you forget about a classic song, one of your favorite songs back in the day. You clicky, 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 click, looking like a lollipop, waiting for the click, girl, right? You got to get the clicks. That is something you click on. Why do you think I read this piece in the first place?
Great joke. Props to you. That was amazing.
I mean, I'm full of them.
All right. I lied. I'm not done yet. I can't say goodbye to you just now. I feel like I've been mean to a lot of people on the show. I am here to applaud an interview that was given with the Anheuser-Busch CEO. That, as anyone who's listened to the show knows, all stocks relating to alcohol have been in the toilet for like 5 straight years. They just go down, down, down some more. The headlines will tell you no one is drinking alcohol, and that's a huge concern. So people think it's a dying industry. They finally hired a PR team. Like, I've seen this happen in other places. I saw the CEO of Samuel Adams talking about how this is funny. The corporate lobbying arm was disassembled at some point, like right before COVID. And so the narrative around consumption of their product, just think of it as a product here, like became entirely one-sided with the people who said this is horrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're starting to push back. The Budweiser CEO said, I can't say this without laughing, that consumers are turning to healthier habits like beer because it naturally has protein. So great. He also, actually, I'm not sure if it's he or she, he said that they will not use the term domestic beer. They want to use the term American beer because it's more patriotic. Right?
Wow.
Stand up for your company is all I'm saying.
Can you smell the desperation in that message?
They hired Kalshi's PR team. What can I say? I'm all for it. The larger point here is simply like there are narratives happening about your product. This isn't really about beer. And it is your job when you lead a large company to be part of that narrative.
I want to be in the meeting when someone says, how do we figure out how to turn this ship around? And he comes out and he says, people are all about protein these days. Let's just tell them that there's protein. It's very straightforward. And then someone says, is there protein? He goes, no. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I hope so. This has been happening for the last decade, though. Haven't you been to the grocery store recently?
Yeah.
Everything says protein. There's like protein cereal and protein. There's all sorts of stuff.
I'm crunching that every day, bro.
Do you know the Pop-Tarts in my cabinet right now say protein Pop-Tarts, and they're terrible. They're disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
I want my old Pop-Tarts back, but I, of course, purchase them because they have protein in them.
Because you can't help yourself. The old ones are just filled with sodium. That's all that's it. They're so good.
When Twizzlers and every other sugary candy, this is like, I think, mid-90s, came out and wrote fat-free on all their products because theoretically there's no fat. I mean, it turns into fat the instant you consume. But
there's no fat in here. There's just fat on you.
It's great marketing. So beer has protein. I just wanted everyone to know. I think probably everything else has protein, but don't tell anyone. Remember to go buy your American beer for the protein. You won't be healthy otherwise. It's
down with domestic, up with American.
It's science.
Oh, my goodness. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate y'all. Stay tuned next week to see what the next classic film is.
Outrageous.